Hello students. Let us now move towards the second part of the chapter. The name of chapter is Poverty and Unemployment. So whatever we learned so far till now was all about poverty. We understood what is poverty, what are its types, what is the level of poverty in India, that is the statistical data. We learned what are the reasons, and then we learned so many programs that the government has laid to elevate this poverty. Now moving towards unemployment. Children, don't you think that unemployment and poverty are correlated? Because if a person is unemployed, he will tend to be poor. And in a poor family, because kids will not get good education, good health, good food, good culture, so they might tend to have no skills, and probably that would be the reason that there is a possibility of they are being unemployed in future. So the second part here, unemployment, has same things to teach us. What is unemployment, what are its types, what are the reasons, and what has government done so far to help these unemployed people. Let us understand the basics first. What is unemployment? So when a person is qualified, when a person already has some skill, some qualification, is willing to work at the market rate. It's not like that that I am an MBA and if somebody offers me 5 lakh rupees per month, then only I work. It's like I'm ready to work at any given wage rate, that is any market wage rate. Makes sincere attempts to find work, is running for finding job, applying at multiple places, going for interview, but still does not find job, is unemployed. So man who wants to work, who knows the work, how to do the work, finds for work, is ready to work at any amount and still does not get work, we call them as unemployed. Now the types of unemployment. Students, there are 6 types of unemployment given here, and these types of unemployment can be a part of your long question in board paper, or maybe you can be asked with individually. So the first type is the seasonal unemployment. Seasonal name says that for a particular season a person is unemployed. How? We know that 70% people in India today also they depend on agriculture, and we also know that rain is an inconsistent factor and it is not irrigation facility available everywhere, so farmer will not get work round the year. For few months he won't be having water to drink also. How can he water his farm? So because of irregular rain, because of lack of irrigation, and because he does not have any other alternative income other than the farming, so he has to sit free for some 3 to 5 months where he won't have any work. So that's seasonal unemployment. Now next is frictional unemployment. You have to remember the name friction. Friction takes place in machine. This is just a hint. You can remember anyhow. When the technology changes, when laborers find it difficult to adapt with the new work, they take some time to learn, to upgrade themselves. In that mean period, in that time, he has no work. Say for example, way back there were times when animal driven cars were in fashion. Then came the auto rickshaws and cabs. Now a person who's into traveling, taking the passenger from one place to another with animals, now has to adapt, learning to drive, to ride an auto rickshaw or maybe a cab. For that he will have to buy it, he will have to learn to how to use it, and then he will again be back to his income. So that is frictional unemployment. This is mainly due to technology change that a person faces. So obviously like seasonal has a definite period, after that again there will be a peak season to make money. Same way when technology changes, the transit between old to new technology and getting through whatsoever time he cannot manage work is frictional unemployment. So after having understood the seasonal and frictional unemployment, now we will understand structural unemployment. We have learned structure in chapter number 15. Primary, secondary and tertiary sector, that's our structure. a person from primary sector makes some industry, he will face some time where he won't have money. If a person changes from secondary to tertiary sector, he will have to adapt with things and might not have work for some time. That shift from one sector to another, what we call as sectoral unemployment, could also be a part of structural unemployment. And here your textbook says that our society's structure, specifically rural India, it is talking about that in rural India things are very rigid. So backward and orthodox economy, traditional customs, old beliefs, illiteracy and lack of structure, lack of a proper setup wherein you can make money, these things are lacking. So that's structural unemployment. Next is disguised unemployment. Disguised word is not an economics terminology, it's an English word. Disguise means hidden. So the unemployment that is hidden, as in you don't know who's actually unemployed. How? For example, in one farm there are 4 workers working and the farm produces 2 quintals of rice. Now for some reason one worker could not come for the next year entirely, and now only 3 workers were working upon that, and still the farm produced 2 quintals of rice, as in the 4th was not needed. Or maybe the work that 3 needs to do is divided in 4 and everybody is enjoying less work, and then the productivity gets divided. So this disguised unemployment is where more people are employed than required. There are more people onto work than needed. So if they are shifted to some other work, to some other sector, then the overall income will increase. And this problem, disguised unemployment problem, is maximum found in primary sector. There is no standard set that for a particular work, number of people required would be so and so. Like in factory and service sector, it is very well defined. It is not in case of primary sector. So there is the problem of disguised unemployment. You see children, seasonal, structural and disguised, they are all related to developing economy. And in fastest developing or developed economy, you can see frictional unemployment because technology changes very quickly. Now next is industrial unemployment. As the name says, this is the unemployment in industrial sector, secondary sector. Like this, seasonal unemployment and disguised unemployment is in primary sector. Same way, industrial unemployment is in secondary sector. What happens? There could be changes in industrial sector. There could also be impact of economy. It could be for short term, it could be for long term. When the policies change, when the demand changes and the product's need increases or decreases, leads to change in number of people working in that factory. If I give you the example of hand sanitizers, sanitizer was not a need, it was a want before COVID-19. So the production of that sector was limited. Post-COVID, it got multiplied by so many times because the use of sanitizers now was a need. It was not a luxury, it was a need. Now after things get back to normal and COVID is all solved, maybe again people will stop or say reduce using sanitizers, their production will again decrease. So suppose in a factory named XYZ manufacturing sanitizer, earlier before COVID needed 100 people, then during COVID needed 500 people, might again reduce the requirement of people to 200 in future. So when the industrial sector itself faces changes, at that time industrial unemployment creates. And the last is educated unemployed. Person who is educated and still is unemployed. Now what is the criteria of this educated? Like we have criteria of literacy. That any person at the age of 7 if knows to read, write and understand one language, he is a literate. Likewise here the parameter is the one who has completed secondary education. And in the secondary education, if he is through, as in he has the basic skills to understand and interpret problems and work, and he still does not find work, we call him as educated unemployment. So they are the types, students: seasonal, frictional, structural, disguised, industrial, and educated. I hope you understood all of them. In case you have any doubt, you can mention us in the comment section, and see you with the upcoming class of about unemployment reasons and solutions. See you children. Bye bye.